to Dutch students, to who we're going to ask a couple of questions about the Dutch educational system.
Hi, my name is Jana, and I'm training to be an English teacher.
My name is Melissa, and I'm training to become a biology teacher.
What is your opinion on the Spanish educational system?
Well, I think because the Spanish educational system is pretty different from the one in the Netherlands, it is very interesting to be here and to observe how you teach and how everything is organized. And what I think my opinion about the Spanish system right now is that I think it is good, but there are a couple of points where I think you are being too lenient for your students, so you let them progress too easily. And I think that is lowering your level and the end results.
Is there any type of scholarship program that allows Dutch university students to come to Spanish high school?
You have certain programs where you can ask for money to study abroad. So you have the Erasmus program. It's like a scholarship where you can get some money to go to a foreign country and study. And I think you can also go to Spain if you would like to do that.
So
I didn't really know what to expect to start from, so I think it's not super strict, especially with the grading system. So you have to have a 5 to pass to the next year, so that's not very strict, to be honest. And in my school, in the Netherlands, you have to be on average 7 to pass to the next year, so it's way more strict actually. And the level, I think that's very different because in the Netherlands you have different levels in general, so you really adjust your teaching materials to the level that you're teaching, and here everything is mixed, so I think it's very difficult to compare that with each other.
I don't think that Spanish students are less intelligent or anything than Dutch students, but I think that because they are all in the same class, their average is like leveled out. And in the Netherlands you have a higher level, and those students will score higher than the average level in a Spanish school. So I think if you compare those two, yes, the Dutch students will score higher. But if you compare, for example, the middle level or the lower level of Dutch educational system to the Spanish educational system, I think that's similar, or Dutch students score even less. So it really depends on which Dutch level you compare to the Spanish students.
For them?
I don't think it's elitist. I think we group students on the cognitive, the intelligence, abilities that they have, and for us that really makes sense because you have students who are more practical together, doing more practical things, maybe trying trial and error. And you have students together who can handle large texts and are able to analyze, and their critical thinking skills may be a lot higher already. So you can adapt your teaching materials to those students because you have a whole group of similar students. And I think here you have to find materials that are suitable for everyone, and that also means that you cannot do the high analytical critical thinking stuff because other students won't be able to work with that. And I think that is the largest difference between Spanish and Dutch students, and I think that is also why we score better at the PISA, because we differentiate between the groups and we can get them to a higher level.
If you are in a lower level, you can always go to a higher level in the end, so it's not that you're stuck at a certain level, so you can always go up or also down, of course. Well, it really depends on how you're doing and if you, of course, put the effort or maybe stuff like that also has an influence.
I think the switching between levels should be easier.
Yeah, I do like that you only have 6 hours a day. Like in the Netherlands, you have 9 hours a day or 8 hours a day. So I think this is really great. But on the other hand, in my school they have a lot of extra courses, so it's also a choice, of course, to which school you want. So in my school they also have Chinese and Spanish and French, so they have a lot of extra things. So, but I do like that you have the 6 hours and that's it, and then you can go home and have a lot of time to also work at home.
But in the Netherlands, it does depend on the school. So schools are really free to decide, like, we're going to offer these subjects, we're going to offer this level, or multiple levels. And yeah, they are free to decide what kind of educational system, more or less, they want to implement, as long as they get the results that they need to have at the end the scores.
That's true.
Guess. So there's a lot more freedom for schools to do as they please.
So I've been watching some television here in Spain, but everything is in Spanish. So in the Netherlands, that's really different. So we have a lot of we use subtitles for all the English TV shows and also Spanish films or French films. So I think we encounter much more of the foreign language than you have here in Spain. So I think that helps a lot with when we go to high school. We already probably have kind of a big vocabulary in English.
Yeah.
When it comes to tests and exams, are they focused on reasoning skills or rather memorizing?
I think that the end exams, like at the end of secondary school, for English at least, there's a major focus on reading and like analyzing text, and I think that's good, but I also think that the exams are missing a bit of communication and more of speaking. Speaking element to it. It really is beneficial that you have like the students who can handle a lot of reasoning questions. They can take an exam that has a lot of that, and they can show their skills. Well, if you would let like the lower level students take a test like that, they would fail miserably. And I think for the students themselves, it's a good thing that they can show their skills and the skills that they have at the level that they have. In my lessons, I tend to keep the homework to a minimum because I see them 5 times a week for English. I try to do everything in the lessons, and I won't give them so much homework. But because I have English, I teach English, and because I have them like 5 hours in a week, I can do that. But for other subjects, they do give homework.
Me, biology, like especially in the first year when their English is not that good yet, and they have to learn a lot of difficult words in biology especially, and I only have them 2 hours a week. They really need to practice a bit with the words and with the definitions and connecting the concepts together. So I do have to give them homework, and of course it's always too much, but yeah. I guess you can.
That's all. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you very much for coming.
No problem.
You're welcome.